This video is just to give you a couple of tips on how to change out your circulation pump. This one has a built-in flow switch. Yours might have it, it might not, so if it doesn't, don't worry about it. Basically, if it's never been replaced before, so say for instance you have one from the early 2000s or 1990s and your pump is red or blue, you probably have a metal plate attached to it, and the metal plate is going to have two Phillips head screws holding it down. They're kind of hard to get to sometimes, so unless you have some kind of like 90-degree fitting attachment to get them out, or some kind of bendable attachment like I have, they're hard to get out. So if you don't have anything to get them out, you can grab a longer than this flathead screwdriver and wedge it under the plate and literally pry it up, and it'll just rip those screws out of the plastic ground of the spa, and that's okay. You just pry that sucker up, rip them out of the way, or if you have the attachments, get them out with a screwdriver. If you don't have those, if it's a little bit of a newer spa and it's the original, there's usually a little L bracket right here with a screw holding it down. So you're going to take that out, you can throw it in the trash. If you have that, most likely you have the other screw that they like to put right here in the front, but obviously you can't see it or know where that screw is or access it. So what you do is take that little guy out first, and there's enough play in the hoses. Well, you may want to wait till you get it out, but what you can do is just pull it back just a little bit, and it'll free it from that screw that's up there. So if you do have a screw here, once you remove that, definitely pull it back a little to free it from that. And if you have a couple of wine corks, just average size wine corks, the plumbing hoses are 3/4 inch, so you'll know by looking at it whether it's going to work or not. Once you pull the pump out, you could plug the lines with these temporarily, so you could prep your new pump to get it in. The plumbing, there's a hose here and there's a hose in the front here, and they're held on by hose clamps. You may have the kind where you have to squeeze it to loosen it and move it out of the way and then let go on both of them. Or you may have a newer style where it's kind of like the ratchet kind, where you screw it or unscrew it like with a screwdriver. Either way, whichever one you have, you want to loosen it, move it out of the way. If it's a ratchet kind, you want to tighten it up here and out of the way, because if you don't get it stuck out of the way, when you pull your pump, it might fall down. Now you're scrambling to get your new pump and get the new fittings in there if there's water in the tub. If the spa's empty, then it's no big deal. The way these work, so you take those off. Obviously, this one is very hard to get to because you can't see it. So you're just feeling for it, trying to figure out how to get it off. So it's kind of a pain, but you got to do it. The way you want to do this is, if water is in the spa, you are going to have obviously water pressure on both ends pushing into this. So you want to take the pump, you want to get this hose out first. So you're going to roll the pump sideways, just like that, to get it out. Then you're going to grab the hose back here and pull the pump straight out towards you. You want to do this hose first, every time. Down and out, plug your hoses, prep your new, put this away, prep your new pump. Then when you go to put it back in, you want to put the top in first and the back hose last, because your lower control PC board unit is right here. If you plug this hose in, water is going to shoot straight up into your box, because you have a hole where all your wires come in, and get water all over your PC board, and you do not want that either. So roll it, pull it out. When you put it back in, put this in first and then the front, Then attach your hoses. That's pretty much it. Sometimes when the hose and the clamps are so old, the clamps went on a certain way, and you kind of have to tinker with it to get it the same way that it was before, because if there are grooves in the hose and you put the clamp somewhere else, it may not tighten it and it'll leak a little bit. So just tinker it back to the way it was before, and you're all set.